Hello, my name is Christina Woods. I'm Auntie Serial Entrepreneur. And today I wanted to just give an introduction on kind of myself, my bipolar depression diagnosis, and entrepreneurship, so that you can kind of get an idea where this journey even started. My name is Christina Woods again. I'm 43 years old, and without further ado, I'm gonna just jump into my story. Okay. I was raised up in church, that kind of thing. Got saved early, like 12 years old. Stayed pretty much in church a whole lot, all the way up to my 20s, 30s, all that kind of stuff. Okay. But where I think I started having my first encounters with depression, even though I didn't know it was depression yet, I want to say my first account was when I had to quit college at Francis Marion University in Florence, South Carolina. And I had went for 2.5 years. And two of the semesters, I kept 3 jobs. Like, that's how hard I was trying to stay in school. And I had a small car, my first car my dad gave me. And, it was a used car, but if I take care of it, of course, he showed me it's going to take care of me, and it did. Um, what happened is I didn't tell any of my family members that they told me I could stay in school, but I couldn't stay on campus. It wasn't enough funding or something like that for me, for what I qualified for. And I still wasn't all the way discouraged. Like I said, all I did was pick up another job, but I would get tickets on campus from having the car on campus. Because if you're not staying on campus, you're not supposed to have your car there overnight. And I slept in the car. I just didn't tell my parents or cousins or anything. Every now and then I would have a um, associate classmate or something like that who would, what they would do is in the morning, because they had morning classes and I had afternoon classes and evening classes. I did it like that, so first thing in the morning I have time to get myself together. And sure enough, the people that would help me would let me take a shower in their room so I can get dressed for the next day at school. Go ahead and go to school. I worked on campus. I would go to work at school like nothing is going on, and I was just trying to stay in so that I can graduate. I almost didn't care how. I was just trying to make sure I stayed in so I could graduate. And when that next summer came, I want to say I talked to a counselor and they told me I was 3 credits away from being a junior, which is, I would need those 3 more credits in order to get all the funding that I need to be able to come back on campus. And that would also provide me a change check. So I would have a little bit to buy my books and stuff with, and I would be able to have somewhere to stay at school, and I'd be able to finish my last 2 years of school. So I asked a couple family members because to pay for that one class out of pocket, I remember the books alone were like $300 for one class because we had like some kind of workbook, we had our regular textbook, and then whatever other book they wanted us to get to go with the book, like the glossary book or whatever. And I worked real hard to do it, but I had a studio apartment because I'm trying to stay in Florence so that I can stay close to school. So I had my first studio apartment. Now I'm like, at that age, I'm like now 19. And I was a third shift worker at a truck stop. I was an assistant manager, third key manager at movie theater in Florence. And then I worked on campus in the cafeteria at school. So if you could just imagine, right after class, I'm going to go work in the lunchroom. And then right after that, I'm getting ready to go to the movie theater. And if I ever had a day I got off early at the movie theater, more than likely I would only have like a couple hours off. And then I had to show up for night shift at the truck stop. And I think when I passed the class, I was so excited. I passed the class. I said, I can get back in school. This is awesome. I can stay back on campus. I passed with like a B. I made sure I passed. And when I went to go sign up for all my junior courses, my advisor told me that I was short 3 credits. I'm like, how could I be short 3 credits? I just took 3 credits, and I was told I was short 3 credits before I took the biology course. So let me know. They said, no, well, we made a mistake. We made a mistake. You needed 6. We do have the 3 here, but if you're willing to take 3 more credits this next semester, then that'll make you a junior the next semester. And I wasn't upset, but I knew I was out of money. I knew I was out of money. It's hard to not even feel the feeling now. I knew I was out of money, and I can't even say I felt wronged. I didn't know what to feel. Some of my classmates had blamed the teacher and the advisor. Some people said, no, I was supposed to be on top of it myself. It was overwhelming because maybe I did miss something, or maybe I should have pressured harder to the advisors. But again, I missed 3 jobs at 19 trying to just make it all work. I think that was my first bout of depression, but I think I didn't know I was in depression. I think I just thought I was sad and I got to hustle up and make something else happen. And that's the kind of character I am. So that's exactly what I did. I traded in the 3 jobs for one good job. The one good job turned into me being a head chef at that job. Um, I ended up finding another like a small apartment. It was bigger than that, but it didn't have heat, air, a stove, or refrigerator. And I'm still just trying to, I think I was just trying to deal. Like, okay, if school isn't it, what am I going to do? I had my cosmetology license. I had that since the age of 18. So I actually went to school for that. So, but I didn't have um, a lot of clients. A lot of my clients were at school. They were at school where I was at. And if I don't have a lucrative uh, or presentable place to do their hair and locks at, I lost some of those customers or whatever. So yeah, finding another actual job, even though I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, seemed like something I better do, and I better do it real quick. Um, I ended up, like I said, I was really, really heavy in church, so I don't know what I went through emotionally. I let myself get this boyfriend. Boyfriend hurts my feelings, y'all, like never before, because I had never really dated like that, and I had big cousins who made sure we didn't talk to the wrong guys. I had the church family making sure they was on top of us. I had big homies, everybody just no, not you, and you be good. And I always had to be good. That comes later. But I really, really, I think I started feeling despair. Like now I know all these words, and I wish I could apply them to my life then, because maybe it would have made a difference in how I handle some things. Or maybe I could have caught on to what's wrong with me sooner. Um, However, I didn't, I still don't know. Then my grandmother passes away while I live at that apartment. That's all I'm going to say. Because I realized that was about to mess me up and I don't want to have to re record this. Um, that happens. While I'm in the same apartment, I form a best friend with another church member. This person is not a boyfriend or anything. I had very much high soul respect for this person. And all I can say is I think in my heart something got confused. And I don't think I meant any harm. And I know the person didn't mean to hurt me in no kind of way. The hurt that I ended up feeling later came from the judgment from other people surrounding it. There was a lady around the spectrum that know me from birth. And to me, she had flipped on me. That hurt. And then another person that the guy knew that had a high esteem kind of judged me and put on me that I kind of made up something or something like that. And it had to do with church things. And I felt like, I'm being treated like I was just never a Christian ever. And if you could just for a small moment really just imagine my father's of a church. And I'm going to church all my life. I know not to disrespect any elders of the church. Even if they do something to you, I pretty much know how to get out of all those situations without trying to sin or really hurt their feelings in any kind of way. I don't want that mojo on my life that they walked away hurt. Now God got to get me because I was out of place. And I was kind of talked to as if I tried to do something to this person. It messed me up. It messed me up. I was raised better than that. And I even told the lady, I said, no, you're wrong. And I said, I never wish to marry no preachers, no pastors. I don't think like that. I want to be with whoever God want me to be with, just to kind of clear the air. Because I figure maybe, because sometimes people get the feeling they self. They know their position and things like that. And I think people start to feel themselves. They forget that it's all God and know them. And so now you feel like everybody wants you. And that's not it. I was more so trying to just live right. And I only ended up there because at the church I was going to previous, I felt like I was starting to have a hard time to grow. And the people that were around me in my church that had the same gifts that I believe I had, some of them weren't there anymore. So I wanted to be up under someone with the same gift as me so I could learn as much as possible. And these people hurt me. There is nothing like being pretty much born into a church. I mean, aunts and uncles, all that, very into church, and parents, grandparents, all that, great grandparents, all that. And then you become best friends with this person that's teaching you. So there is a love there because this person is teaching you and you don't want anything to interfere with it at ever, bar none. The hurt comes from the judgment from these people. Needless to say, next thing you know, now I feel like church people don't care about me anymore. So now school has failed. My first love outside of high school has failed. And then grandma has passed. Uh, and then I think on top of that, it came down to a female friend I had been friends with. Me and her clashed. That hurt. And then I had a childhood friend, and we had always had crushes on each other. And one day he was talking to me, and I was crying about all these things. All these things are coming out. But like I said, I'm not looking at it like depression. I don't really know what depression is. I just know I'm really sad. I'm really heavy. I want God to heal me and just make me stronger because I need to go on, this, that, and the third. And we knew we liked each other. And he had lived far away. And I told him I was going to run. I said, I'm about to just run. I just want to go. I just need to leave. Again, I'm not understanding yet that this is probably depression or anything. I just know I'm breaking out. I got to go do something different. None of anything is working. I got to try something different. He said, before you leave, come to me. I said, are you sure? I said, if I pack up this apartment, I'm going to have nowhere to go except back home. And remember, I left at 17 to go to school, so I hadn't even been home in a couple of years. I'm like, really? I mean, not to stay. And he says, yes, don't worry about it. I'm sending you the money in the morning. You're going to come to me. I'm feeling very much so at this point like I'm going to get to be safe. I'm going to get to be okay. I'm going to get to be in a space where I'm secure. That falls through, but I never know what happens. I do end up moving home. Of course, this makes whatever I don't know depression is getting even worse. When I came back to Florence, got jobs, this, that, and the third. The next job, I ended up getting treated pretty poorly by the management or whatever. And I had left that head chef job to get this job because it had benefits. I figured it worth it to get into a company that had benefits for me. During this time, the last couple people, that's when this family starts passing away 1 year after the next. So literally over the next 3 years, I lose a whole family worth of people that I cherish and love, that help, groom me, raise me. If somebody bother me, they coming and they coming in force. Got time to buy my first car. That's the aunt and her husband came and actually literally took me to a car lot. Like, we're going to teach you how to buy a car today. When I started my business, the sister that had passed away, she came and got a whole box out of my house and put it in her trunk and said, okay, make some more stuff because I'm going to help you. The younger sister that actually passed away when I was in the fourth grade, she was my babysitter every day. And the brother that finally passed away, he had just left my apartment to go stay with my parents. So it's very, very a family that I really, really cherished. Okay, so that I'm bringing you into the introduction of how I think depression even came into my life. I throw myself into this third shift job while at the 2-bedroom apartment when the brother passed away. The job gets harder. Next thing you know, I'm vomiting 3 times a night from 10 to 7. So from 10 to 7, I done vomited about 3 times. I'm getting very sick at work. I'm still not understanding I'm depressed. I don't know what's wrong with me. I go to the doctor. I didn't like doctors. First time going to the doctor as an adult by myself. I get there, and she's let me know just how bad off I am. This regular physical doctor. I'm just trying to figure out why am I vomiting so much? What's wrong with me? And she pretty much let me know. This was like in June or July. And my birthday was that October. And I would have been turning 27. So, she asked me, how old are you? I said, 26. And she said, when you be 27? I said, October. She said, well, I'm going to tell you what. If you don't stop working right now, you won't be alive in October. But, oh, yeah, because I started giving her, not a rebuttal, but I was just like, ma'am, I can't stop working. If I stop working, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my little car. I'm going to lose my house. I mean, everything that I'm trying to achieve, I'm gonna lose all that stuff if I go home and lose this job. She said, baby, if you don't quit working, you won't be alive to have the stuff anyway. So reality had to try to settle in. Fast forward a little bit, I end up coming home. I come home, I'm out of work. I still haven't heard from the guy. I don't know what's going on. Why he just, because I could have kept my little apartment. It would have been tough. I probably still would have been sad and it would have still been hard, but I wouldn't have had to come all the way home. Um, so I think that made it settle in even more. I get home. I did salvage my car. My car had one more payment on it. I made the last payment and got my title, but I had no insurance. And I remember grabbing a little job, thinking if I could just have insurance, I could get around better and things like that. Insurance came to like $87 a month. And against doctor's orders, I figured I better go back to work. I had asked a couple family members not to help me pay every month, but just that first month because I did find out that I could do a job that was like, 4 hours a day, something like that, and only like 20 hours a week. But I qualified for more, so I went in for more because I was denied. I was denied. I won't say by a lot of people, but the few that I did ask, if an aunt or uncle to or something like that. And I just figured, well, before I let myself go all the way down, because see, if the car sit there and rot, then they ain't gonna help me get a new car because they don't even want to help me get insurance. So reality set in even more that, people don't care the way they say they do. You know what I mean? In college, I remember I had an issue and I had just stopped school, and I called one of my big cousins, and I can't remember. It wasn't even a lot. I just asked for like $20, anything, just to help me to the end of that week till I get back home. And her response to me was, "Oh, once you quit school, I don't help nobody." And it didn't break my heart so much what she said, because if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But as a little cousin, I'm wondering what your motive is because you ain't even go to school, first of all. So you don't know how hard it is. Then, second of all, so I quit being your big cousin, oldest child because of this. Because just a couple months before that, I'm one of the favorite little cousins. So, you know what I mean? I'm getting the reality hits from the people who act like they care just 2 years ago. Because what a person with new bills don't want to hear is how you helped buy diapers for them when they were 5. So, to me, I'm just getting these blows, 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 and I'm like, when is relief coming? Is there relief coming? Guess ain't no relief coming. Needless to say, during all this times, I have learned what panic attacks are. Well, anxiety attacks more now. Um, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to be right back. I brought you up to the point where I'm like, just turned 27 that October. And I had to make some quick decisions. I left work one day. Remember, I snuck and get the job that I wasn't supposed to get, but I was like, I need the money. Maybe I just won't overwork myself and I'll be okay. I go ahead, I snag the job, but remember, I can't drive the car yet. So I'm just trying to work a couple weeks enough till I get a paycheck so that I can put insurance on the car so that I can now drive to the job. Because I'm back home, it's a more rural area. And one day I'm coming home from work, it's hot, 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 hot. And I said, well, let me take the way with the trees. And so instead of the straight way with the highway with the nothing but sun. So it's still hot the other way, but at least I'm gonna get some shade. I start walking home. We have a road near us called Hodges Road. It's a very long, straight road. And it bends at the end, but it's just a straight way. And I'm walking and I'm not bothering anybody. It's hot. I just can't wait to get home. I'm almost home, like 15 minutes away, something like that. Not maybe 20. And a big white truck pulls up on the right side of me. And because I'm walking this way, I'm on this side and then the car's on that side. And they pull up beside, and if the truck is so big, I gotta look up at it. And I look up, and this young, Caucasian young man, um, I hope I'm not saying anything wrong. Young guy looked out of the truck and he says, "Run, N-word, run." And I'm like, I couldn't, I hear him and I'm looking at him to make sure I'm seeing the right, what I'm seeing. Because, I am, from the South. I don't know how serious this is about to get, but I'm calculating everything really fast that I'm on this long road that nobody can see us. And I realize there's a friend in the truck. The friend is not stopping him. The friend joins in and then pulls out this long weapon. I don't know. I'm new to this social media. I don't know if I can say the G word, but pulls out this very big and says and repeats the same thing as the first guy: "Run, N-word, run." And then they start laughing with each other. Ha ha ha. And I'm looking because I can't afford to miss a step right here. Because if they for real, this might be the thing. I might end up right here with this ditch at right beside me. I don't know. And then I just remembered a certain strength come over me. And I was like, I'm not going to turn my back and run. And I said, because even if they decide to get me, I didn't want my parents or anybody to find me in a fear state. I don't know if that makes sense. Not that standing your ground is any easier in that kind of situation, but I just, not in my back. Not in my back and not with me laying face down like I was running. I just think that was something I just didn't want them to experience. Nobody that I love, I want to experience that. So I stood my ground and they did drive off. At this point, I'm knowing I can't tell any cousins, any brothers, any uncles about this situation. Or I felt like I couldn't. I felt like, oh my gosh, even my family who can't fight gonna be involved in this. Like, I can't let nobody I love get in trouble. And my brothers are younger than me. I just refused. And I knew they loved me. And I just, within a week, I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, starting my life over. No. I had made my decision by the end of the week. And then I ended up not going to that job anymore. So I wouldn't have to worry about walking by myself. And then I made a plan. I started sending in letters to Philly to try to get a job at a particular place. And I qualified and all that good stuff. Because by this time I had my Class A CDL. Oh, I forgot I went to truck driving school when I was 21. Got my Class A CDL. I drove 18-wheelers. So I knew I still had that knowledge, and I figured maybe I could drive buses or some kind of transportation up there, and I started trying to get a job. Sure enough, by November, I do relocate up there. Keep in mind, I'm not really supposed to be working real hard. I get hired onto the job, and then they find something wrong. Tell me I need to find a specialist. Not only am I disappointed, but that job would have took care of me. I would have had benefits. I would have been making more than I did down south. And they had some kind of thing that what do you call it? A union or something. And people were explaining to me that I would probably have my job a longer time just so I don't get myself fired, because they help you with keeping a job and making sure you get raises, all this kind of stuff. And I didn't know how it really worked, but I was really hyped and excited about this. I'm like, wow, okay. Because they wanted me, and they even told me after I see the specialist, they held the job, they held the position for me for 6 months. Guess who could not get help nowhere, literally. This brings me to a whole new level of sadness, because I gotta accept the unemployment situation, or so I think. Well, I decide I gotta shake my way and get myself out of the situation. I got 6 months to find some place to stay. I go ahead and pick up. I ain't learning. I pick up 3 jobs, y'all. I pick up 3 jobs. I knew it was hurting me, but I knew it worked. I knew it worked. And in 6 months, I had a job. I was starting not to feel good already, though. I'm gonna fast forward and skip a lot of stuff till another time. Because I really just want to stick to how depression even got me to this place and why I'm still trying to do business. Um, I want to skip to about where I started having the panic and anxiety attacks, or when I Because remember, I'm still not categorizing these sad moments as depression. I'm just thinking this is life as an adult. You get sad sometime, roll with the punches, dust it off, and keep on going. So I'm at one of the jobs after I had a bad bout with something else, but I'm gonna speak on that separately by itself in its own video. Um, but I did something really, really bad. It landed me at going to see the doctors. And this starts their what I call psychiatric treatment. And I didn't like any of the medicines I was given ever. Then I get back into work, but I could only work part-time. And I had an apartment that's only $87 a week, and I couldn't even afford that, even though I was getting paid every week. Here comes another bout of depression. I had put half down on a card. That was a 2014, what you call it, Camry. And I only owed half left. But by these jobs and by me all of a sudden getting sick, who can make these payments on time the way I would have been able to had I kept the job and all that stuff. And one day I'm working on the meat line and I'm just doing my thing, putting these labels on and heat and pushing it through whatever I got to do. And guys, when I come to myself, meat's just flying off the thing. And I realized what I got to do, and I kind of scramble and get myself together. And then I just started crying these tears that I didn't even think I could cry. And then when I finally get a moment where somebody like gets to me, a woman gets to me, it's like, let me take her to the ladies' bathroom. Y'all guys stay right here. Let me just get her private and talk to her as a girl, whatever. I go in the bathroom to try to calm down. I have done cried so hard, my throat and everything hurt, my stomach hurt so bad. I vomit up a little blood or whatever. So, this is now even more scary. So now the job is like, well, hold on, you ain't leaving here like this. You leaving in an ambulance because we're going to cover ourselves, because nobody don't know what really happened. I can't even say I know what happened. The meat was flying, y'all. It was gone. Now I got to start dealing with reality. Got to start dealing with why some of my relationship might have been broken. Got to start dealing with why some family members' conversations didn't go a certain way. Got to figure out maybe why I didn't do so good in that college course. Dealing with reality now has to set in. And I got to figure out what's wrong with me. And I got to figure it out real quick. So I didn't want to say, earlier too quick what was wrong. But I did finally get my survivor tattoo. So that lets you know how bad it got before it got better. And I'm still far away from better. I'm going to stop right here and be back.